Hello, Chancellor Reese here. Today I will be taking you on a tour of one of the larger but lesser known technology museums in America. The place I'm talking about is the Stephen F. Udvar-Hazy Center, a branch of the National Air and Space Museum and a part of the Smithsonian. Located outside of D.C. near the Dulles Airport in Virginia, the center currently has over 170 restored aircraft and major space artifacts on display. The center is comprised of three major buildings: the Boeing Aviation Hangar, the James McDonnell Space Hangar, and the Mary Baker Engine Restoration Facility. The center was opened in 2003 to act as both a restoration facility and a way to showcase the Air and Space Museum's growing collection of full-size aircraft and space objects. Now, the Boeing Aviation Hangar is the main building that you enter when you first go in the museum, and it houses some of the most famous aircraft exhibits in the world. For example, it has a retired Air France Concorde jetliner, one of the few supersonic passenger planes that was ever flown commercially. Plus, the hangar is the final resting place for the World War II B-29 bomber, the Enola Gay, which was infamously the only plane to ever drop a nuclear device during wartime. There's also some other kind of weird looking stuff, like the N1M flying wing, which is thought to be the proof of concept prototype for Northrop's later and much more crash resistant B-2 Spirit, or better known stealth bomber. Yet another super cool military aircraft housed at the center is the retired Lockheed SR-71 Blackbird spy plane. This reconnaissance plane was the fastest jet aircraft of its time, and it was on the flying edge between air and space technology. Its most famous secret mission, however, was to photolocate and confirm the capture of naval intelligence vessel the USS Pueblo by the North Koreans in 1968. It was also instrumental in part, supposedly, during the Cuban Missile Crisis. Appropriately, the Blackbird is situated literally between the aviation and space hangars. Now to the McDonnell Space Hangar. The most famous space object in the space hangar is the Spaceship Enterprise. No, not that one. I mean NASA's Space Shuttle Enterprise. But the Space Shuttle was actually named after the fictional TV Starship Enterprise, following a massive letter writing campaign by fans. So, well, you know. This space hangar also houses many other spacecraft and space-related exhibits from both the manned and unmanned space program. The center was has one of the few surviving manned maneuvering units, or MMU rocket packs, that NASA used to repair failing satellites. This is one of the few rocket packs that returned to Earth that wasn't jettisoned by the pilots on the shuttle's recovery missions. There were also some other quirky exhibits, such as the Gemini TTV-1 paraglider capsule. This unusual recovery system was never actually used, but was based on the invention of a woman. In 1948, Gertrude Raiolo invented a parawing, along with the help of her husband Francis, who was then a NASA engineer. The parawing design, well, as I said, was never used. It did take off in a certain group. It was the basis for most of today's hang gliders and ultralight planes. These are just a few of the really cool and interesting stories behind the aircraft and space objects you will see when you visit the Udvar-Hazy Center. See you there.